Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. There's something I want to remind you of. It's when you move on that you'll recover. You don't recover by holding on. You recover by moving on. And here's the thing with really moving on. Moving on is an inside job. Moving on has to do with how you think and relate to things. Too often, people focus so much on external circumstances. They want to manipulate and force the external circumstances to change. Whether it's them moving to another country, getting another job, getting another spouse, or getting another group of friends, whatever it is. Really moving on is a change of attitude, a change of thinking, therefore also a change of feeling and relating. And let me tell you, not everyone will move on with you. This should be quite obvious to you, even if you're just a teenager. Not everyone will move on with you. First of all, not everyone wants to move on, because not everyone wants to see that they need to move on. Not everyone wants to develop. Some people are so attached to their comfort zone, which is a reflection of their way of thinking, that anything that penetrates their comfort zone they see as an enemy. So when you move on, they begin to perceive you as an enemy also. Now look, it can be that you have a group of friends. Okay, let's say you relate with them in an emotional dependent manner. Now you move on. You don't relate to them in that manner anymore. They're still friends to you, but not in an emotional dependent manner anymore. And look at this. You still treat them with kindness and all of that. But your attitude has changed. So sooner or later, but often sooner, that group of friends is going to notice there's a change in you. And this change will work out how you relate to them. And here's the thing. You've moved on. They didn't. They are still relating to you as the one needing emotional approval. So when they realize this doesn't work anymore, they can either take the challenge to move on also, or they can cast you out. They become uncomfortable with you. And often, I'm not saying always, often happens that the group decides to cast you out. And then you think, what did I do wrong? No, you didn't do anything wrong. You moved on. They didn't. So that's why it's better for your well-being that they cast you out, because they will only enforce patterns onto you that never should fit you to begin with. Those patterns used to fit you because you related to them in a manner that wasn't right. But now that you have moved on, now they don't want to deal with you anymore, because they're used to relate to you based on those old patterns. So they're really rejecting you, the real you. Instead, they want the fake you. So those that want the fake you are not good for you. So you move on. If they cast you out, praise the Lord. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because when it comes to moving on, people expect it to be easy. Now, moving on isn't easy, especially in the beginning. Especially if what you are moving on from was something quite horrible. And the thing is, often you only notice how horrible it was when you moved on. Haven't you noticed that? Okay, let me give an example now. Let's say you had some relatives you were deeply involved with, going to family meetings, going on holidays together, and all of that, and now suddenly you don't have contact with them anymore. It's as if they don't even exist. And then one day you're sitting in a park or you're in a subway or whatever, and then you realize, hold on a minute, these people were quite weird. It's then that you begin to process what type of relationship you had with those people. And then realize these people were quite toxic. Then you begin to notice all kinds of stuff. What happened? Years back, you moved on. And because you moved on, you saw more options. Because before, The only people you concern yourself with were your relatives and a few friends. But now that you moved on, you realize, hold on a minute, friends often come and go in the world, and relatives aren't always reliable, so you begin to expand yourself socially. You realize you need it as an adult, so you moved on. And because you began to operate in abundance, you removed yourself from those that hindered that abundance. And without you being aware of it, you were delivered from those toxic relationships. But you didn't notice those relationships were toxic. It's now years later that suddenly you remember, and you think, oh dear, what was I thinking hanging around those people? Look, I've said this earlier in this video, not everyone will move on with you. Stop expecting people to grow with you. Stop it. Some people will never, ever grow. Okay, let me repeat that. This needs to get through to you. Some people will never, ever grow. Why? Because they do not want to look at the bigger picture. They have no interest in the bigger picture. The only thing that matters to them is their own self-regard. They are operating in toxic self-regard. It's only about their own relief. And such people, you need to be delivered from them, because you will only have darkness and negativity with them. That's the only thing you will have with such people. Forget about the family meetings, forget about the holidays, forget about those moments of intoxicating pleasures. Forget about those moments. Overall, when you look at those relationships, the only thing you will get there is negativity, darkness, stagnation. They will bind you and will be at your expense. So again, not everyone will move on with you. This is something you need to accept. This is something that needs to get through to you. And you know what? It's good news when it gets through to you, because that means you are delivered from wrong thinking patterns concerning relationships. That being said, agree with Christ and be at peace.